All right, we are officially at a record here. We've consecutively been able to do 2 weeks in a row, which is not
Amazing.
usually the case.
Amazing. Let's go.
Oh man, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. The sun's out,
Yes. Yes.
which is awesome. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Had a fun week.
Good.
From an agentic perspective, a lot of customer stuff
Yep.
on a lot of MCP gateway deployments, a lot of testing, our open source and enterprise products.
Yep.
I published 2 videos. We can dive in later, or 3 videos on Agent
Nice.
Registry, especially with the new UI and what it's for and how to use it.
Yep.
So that's been kind of the top of mind, and just catching up on all the other kind of neat stuff you've been working on, code mode, and
good, man.
the other big word you mentioned, I just can't forget right now for some reason.
Agent Substrate.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Substrates, sub agents.
Yes.
I've actually been playing with Grok a lot, Grok build.
Yeah.
And I think I said it last time. I really like the UI of the IDE.
Okay.
Opus 4.8 is out, right? That's a big thing.
Yes.
It dropped yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, I haven't tested it actually.
I've been playing with it. Nothing too crazy, but the capabilities. I don't know if I want to just share my screen here, just so we can kind of quickly glance over what everybody's talking about.
Yep.
And the capabilities. So 4.8 on the agentic coding got a little bump.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, man. You believe this? Do you believe these stats?
I don't know if I believe all the stats because it is marketing.
I'm skeptical.
I'm sure I could pull the same stat up from Mr. Musk, and he's going to tell me Composer 2.5 is the best, or Grok 2.5 is the best. But it is. I've seen people test it. I'm following certain individuals on their playing with it.
Right.
I've seen some bad stuff and I've seen some good stuff. I've seen it not answer things. I've seen it answer things wrong.
Yep.
Then 4.6, but also I follow a lot of cybersecurity guys and organizations and then people.
Yep.
And some of them are just like, oh, that's fine. 4.8 out. I still don't trust it. What they did with 4.6 and how bad they kind of kiboshed that.
What I will say though is there was a time, probably 6 months in a row, where I did not touch anything except Claude Code. It just wasn't necessary. Mm-hmm. And then Claude Code had a bunch of issues and stuff going on. So then I stopped, right? And then I was kind of going between Codex and Open Code. This week, I opened up Claude Code again just to see, and I haven't needed to leave Claude Code. So I think that they definitely made a fair amount of improvements with the client being Claude Code in general. It also probably helps that Anthropic models are now running on Colossus, right? Which means rate limits are increased. Yeah, I was researching it, and it looks like the models are running there now. Yeah. So that means you have better rate limits, right? That means less hallucinations because there's more hardware, there's more processing availability. So I think we might be back in action with Claude and Opus. So
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. So for my week, what have I been doing? So you know what I've been doing a lot of? I literally have the list as we speak. I've been doing a lot of work around MCP and tool selection and stuff. I've been doing a lot of really cool stuff around OBO, specifically with agent identity. Mm-hmm. So this is something that I put together for 2 customers actually, where I can use a cell expression, right, to specify the agent name and then say what it can and can't do, right? So I can go I don't know what the industry is calling it, but this OBO agent identity, right? Okay, which is really cool. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of that. Bring your own key with GitHub Copilot. That's been interesting. Setting that up, which essentially it means let's say you want to use Copilot, instead of having to go through getting a key through them or whatever, or using their API key, you can now use like your Anthropic key or your OpenAI key or whatever, which is cool.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of OBO stuff. What else? A lot of MCP stuff, a lot of observability stuff this week around MCP, cost optimization, and then diving into the agent substrate stuff. I was looking at the new MCP spec, and then all the stuff around code mode, which is interesting. Yeah, so
just to add on that observability, I think next week, and I didn't even tell you this, but I think next week or the week after, we're going to have probably like LangFuse to do an agent gateway integration on, expanding the capabilities of what we can do with Agent Gateway and pumping data. Because a lot of our customers, they have already, or all customers pretty much have a central monitoring team and observability team, right? They have that, right? So they're like, hey, just give me the data. We'll look at it. We'll do the whatever we need to do to make it look pretty.
Yeah.
Reports.
And even to that point, like this is something big we were talking about where like out of the 50 items on my list currently, I have a item to start writing a ton of more stuff around like Agent Gateway and Grafana and Prometheus, or Agent Gateway and Datadog, or Agent Gateway and Dynatrace, or just like, because there's just so many connections that we have and so many integrations that we have with Agent Registry, with Kagent, with Agent Gateway, that like that those ingestion guides definitely need to be there for sure. Yeah, so that'd be cool. Lots of integrations.
I'll be posting more stuff on Agent Gateway.
Oh, nice.
Sweet. Actually, I own Agent Gateway on X, so we own it. So I'm going to be posting tons of stuff on that, which is pretty cool. So definitely follow. It's like I'm at 1 follower right now. It literally just launched yesterday. So I'm the follower.
That reminds me of you ever see the South Park episode where what's his name is like waiting for Facebook friends and then he gets one, but then they unfriend. Anyways, all right. So you want to go first, or you want me to jump in?
Yeah. Let me see if I got my thing up. Yeah. So the one thing I wanted to kind of, why don't I just start off? Let me just share my screen itself. Yeah. I've published 3 new videos on the solo YouTube and my own personal YouTube. The same one's focusing around Agent Registry, the OSS platform itself, and really what I wanted to kind of dive in, because I'm getting a lot of questions on Agent Registry, or I'm getting a lot of questions from a discovery perspective. I'm just kind of
yeah, I've actually been doing a lot of Agent Registry this week as well.
Let me remove this and add the entire actual browser.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, just so it looks better. So I've been playing around with Agent Registry a lot more, especially the discovery and the deployment piece of it. We relaunched our agentregistry.ai website, or aregistry.ai website, to kind of give you a more interactive, really look on what the platform does, how you can use it, how you can install it, even just playing around with some of the things that are in here. So the one other than its capabilities are to manage your MCP servers, your skills, your agents, and prompts. And you can build these through, CRDs, through YAML configs, through the actual Agent Registry command line tool, which I built a lot of these for. You can deploy them. But one of the big things that I'm getting a lot of customers asked is, okay, we have a Kubernetes environment with agents and MCP servers, and people are just deploying them left, right, and center. You can actually now, with Agent Registry, you can deploy this and have a discovery and managed of what was in there. So I have, in this instance, 4 managed agents and 4 MCP servers that I'm managing with different versions, whatever I want. But I could also see all the discovered unmanaged agents and MCP servers running. And I think that's pretty neat, because then you can kind of see what is there, what are people maybe using, and how can we kind of eliminate that MCP or agent sprawl inside of a Kubernetes environment. And then eventually bring it into a catalog where everybody can, have their server or MCP server skills, agents, and prompts from a single location, and then version it out, and then even as easy as deploy it locally in a Kubernetes. So in this instance, if I deploy this locally inside my Docker container, it's going to do two things. It's going to spin up this MCP server locally, and it's actually going to spin up Agent Gateway locally. So then I can proxy my cloud code or whatever it is through Agent Gateway and Agent Registry itself. So it's just a great way to get into the agentic workflow, or they're starting to build your agentic stack by having a catalog. And then as an organization, you can say, hey, this is what we're using. Here's the list. Don't go download them from some GitHub repo or someone's environment. Just pull them from this registry itself. So I have a bunch of the videos are out on our YouTube page. We can throw the links in the description below on how to get started, what it is, how to build an agent, and how to build an MCP server. I won't kind of dive into the commands or anything like that, just from a time perspective. But I'll share the link in the notes.
Yeah, it's awesome. Very cool. Let me see. How do I get the wait? I messed this up. There we go.
Trying to do.
I was trying to get the camera to work again. Oh, technology. I can't. I'm getting old, man.
An AI agent to go, hey, zoom into our face.
Yeah, stuff's getting confusing, man, as I get older.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. How'd you do that?
Which one do you want? Oh, no, wait, this one. There's the
I like that one
layout.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Smaller than mine. You look bigger. I don't like that.
All right. So a couple of things that I'll share. I'm going to swap to this monitor, and then I'm going to go here and here and here. Okay. All right. So Agent Substrate. This is a project that came out last week. So, of course, as I do with everything, because I am an AI person, I have opened up my AI and I'm like, why don't you tell me a little bit about this? So I essentially first asked it, like, what is Agent Substrate? And that was based on this doc that came out from Google. So this is actually an open source project from Google, which is really cool. So great question. I love it. You know what, man? My AI just makes me feel good all the time. Nobody talks to me as nice as my AI.
So nice to you, eh?
So what is Agent Substrate? It's a new open source project that pushes the limits for AI agents running on Kubernetes, essentially, right? So this kind of goes through a little bit of it, but the gist is this. You can now run agents on top of Kubernetes in a sandbox-like environment using gvisor. It's the same underlying technology that Agent Sandbox from the Kubernetes project uses, gvisor. And it's actually running on top of Kubernetes. But here's the interesting thing about this, because I dove in pretty deep and I was like looking at the source code and stuff as well. So it's not using Agent Sandbox underneath the hood. It's using the same technology again, which is gvisor, right? And what's really interesting about this is it is running on top of Kubernetes, but you are not interacting with the Kubernetes control plane. You are interacting with Agent Substrate's interface. That interface, there's a controller underneath the hood for the reconciliation loop stuff, right? So like for anybody that's new to, I'm going to add Nathan in here hey, what's up, Nathan? For everybody that's new to like Kubernetes and stuff in general, if you've ever heard the term like self-healing, right? Like that is the Kubernetes controller underneath the hood. And there's a reconciliation loop that essentially checks to confirm that your current state is your desired state, right? So that's what this controller is doing. But again, you are not interacting with the Kubernetes control plane. So this whole thing is actually just running, right? It's essentially just using Kubernetes worker nodes for resources, memory, CPU, GPU, etc. And it's running on top of Kubernetes, but it's not interacting, or you are not interacting directly with the Kubernetes control plane. And I want to point that out. And like, I think that's really, really important, because for anybody that's ever used Kubernetes, you're always interacting with the Kubernetes control plane. Anytime you're on kubectl, get pods, etc., right? You're hitting the control plane. You're hitting the API server running in some server that's typically running in the control plane. With Agent Substrate, very, very different, right? So it's all gRPC protocol, which is just standard client server communication. There's nothing fancy about it, right? But that's the interface in which you are interacting with Agent Substrate, okay? There is the controller underneath the hood for the reconciliation loop, right? Because it is a resource running in Kubernetes. But like this says, it's just the plumbing. It's just the background to maintain the pods that are running your Agent Substrate, right? Like that's it. And then the agents that you're running via Agent Substrate, that's it. It's just doing the plumbing underneath the hood. You're not interacting with it at all, which again is very, very interesting to me. So it's almost like you're just using Kubernetes for its resources. You're not even interacting with its API anymore. Which is really interesting just from a Kubernetes perspective as a whole, right? Like now what the industry is saying is for the past, since 2015, 2016, we've been interacting with Kubernetes via its API, right? Duh, that's obvious. But now the industry is saying, oh, we can just use Kubernetes, which we use it for what it's great at, orchestration of resources, but put our own API on top of it so the user doesn't have to interact with the API. So that's really, really interesting. And then here's the code base as well for Substrate. And again, you can kind of look through this, right? I can read this a little bit out loud. It's a system built on top of Kubernetes, which manages agent-like workloads. It says agent-like workloads because they're running in a sandbox, right? So it's everything's isolated to achieve higher scale and efficiency than Kubernetes alone can offer, with lower latency. This is like I'm interacting via gRPC versus interacting directly with the Kubernetes API. It builds on top of Kubernetes features like pods and pod auto scaling, but takes the control plane out of the critical path. Again, translation, I am using what Kubernetes is best at via its orchestration, and I'm just using the resources that are available in the Kubernetes worker nodes, but I am not interacting with the Kubernetes API server directly. And this is really cool too. There's this demo here that you can watch. Watch the Agent Substrate cluster multiplex 250 stateful actor sessions across just 8 physical pods. So think about that, right? 8 pods, not 8 worker nodes, 8 pods probably running in one worker node and 250 stateful sessions. That's quite a lot.
No.
Yeah, so this is really, really interesting stuff. So definitely check this out. I'm going to probably be creating more content on this, just like kind of diving deep and then like where it interacts with like Cajun and such. So this is a really cool one. The MCP specification is changing, which I think...
Let's introduce Nathan here first.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Nathan.
I want to introduce Nathan to the weekly All-In AI. Nathan, if you want to just introduce yourself, quick intro. And then we're just really just chatting, riffing on things and seeing what's happening this week.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I also work at Solo on the AI area, and I've been working in AI for a little while, working in Mesh even longer. And I came along to listen, and then suddenly I was in the panel. So this is as new to me as everyone else. I'm delighted to be here, though, amongst these intellectual giants that I'm learning a lot from.
Awesome. Yeah, happy to have you. Yeah, I think Nathan, as long as Nathan's schedule lines up, he'll definitely be on the streams with us and stuff moving forward. So that'll be awesome.
When I'm not taking a nap or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Naps are important.
Yeah. So we were just talking about Agent Registry before this, Nathan. I was just kind of showcasing some of the videos that we launched this week on the YouTube. And we talked a little bit about Opus 4.8 and just kind of going back. Have you tried it? Did you play it this week or the last 2 days when it was released? Or
I think I've given it one prompt since it's come live, so not enough to make a judgment call just yet.
Nice.
You're saying that we're seeing the increase in Claude
Yep.
Or the speed of Claude, and we're like, oh, maybe it's because they're already using Colossus 2 or Colossus 3 from X. They have more compute now. So we're seeing we're getting a better response in that itself because they're already running.
Very good call. A very good
allegedly
call.
They're already running in that environment.
Maybe
so
yeah.
Right? Just like Composer and like Grok Build. Like I'm using Grok Build more because I have Agent Gateway and I have my own models behind it too. And I'm seeing a massive increase in development in that product.
Yep.
Just like we're seeing Agent Gateway, like 1.3 is going to be out in the next week or two in Agent Gateway itself. So
yeah, it's pretty interesting to see. Like there was a period of time there where Claude Code, SHITTING the bed a little bit, and they admitted it, right? Like they put stuff out like this is why it was going downhill, etc. Blah blah blah. I am a firm believer that I think it had something to do with the resources that were available, right? Again, I know I've said this a million times on this stream, but like the better your model does and the better the client interacting with the model does means there's more processing power. What does that mean? That means there's more hardware underneath the hood where the model is running. So the better your output, right? The better the inference. That means the more hardware running underneath the hood. So very recently, Anthropic moved their models to Colossus, which is the XAI supercomputer, SpaceX supercomputer. I don't know what it's called anymore, but it's the biggest AI supercomputer, right? It has like the most GPUs, the most agentic resources available. And then all of a sudden I started using Claude again this week and I'm like, oh, like we're back in action. Like Claude isn't like saying weird stuff to me anymore or doing weird things, right? Like I built out a whole demo this morning around a bunch of OBO stuff and it helped a ton, which was really cool. So it's good to see. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right. So stateless protocol.
Back to MCP.
Yes, back to MCP. So this is very, very important. I highly recommend everybody take a look at this. We have a lot of people on today. This is probably the most people we've had on ever on the stream. So that's awesome. Please feel free to ask questions if you would like. So I highly, highly recommend everybody look at this. Conceptually, all MCP traffic has been stateful, right? Which means it was very, very important to look at the body of a response for an MCP call versus just the headers that we would look at with standard HTTP stateless-based traffic. Now, the industry is kind of changing a little bit, right? So like now we have the stateless protocol for MCP. I think is it out or it's coming out? Seb, do you know?
It is coming out at the next release.
The next release. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. And so it's interesting, right? So like even like as you look through the calls, still using JSON RPC obviously as the data transport layer. But now like we're looking at the headers of a response for the tool calls versus the body, which again, it's interesting. So I wonder if like, I mean, I don't think it should change things too drastically from an MCP perspective in terms of like how we're securing it, how we're observing it and stuff like that. But the protocol is going to change a little bit. So
yeah, like, so it comes out July 28th. Right.
Oh, is that why it says July 28th?
Yeah, that's the date.
Yeah, the release candidate.
That should have given it away to me.
Yeah. The neat thing we'll see is like, of course, adoption to it. And I know I've had some customers that are waiting for things like this before they go to prod. We'll see the adoption of existing proxies if they support. Like I know Agent Gateway supports this out of the box.
Right.
So we're ready to go. We're in the future here, expecting all these things to happen with the platform. So I'm looking to play around with it, and I'll probably, you can dive into it. You can get access and set it up yourself if you want.
Yep. Awesome. All right, sweet. So yeah, definitely dive into that. And the last thing that I will dive into, and I'll hand it back over to Sebastian, or if Nathan wants to talk about anything, is code mode. Okay, so this is super important, I think, for just agentic workflows in general. And let me explain why. Once upon a time, it was only like a year and a half ago, which feels like 35 years in the world of AI. There was a time before MCP existed, right? Now, where MCP came into play was we need a protocol that gives you a standard for agents to talk to, right? Because before MCP, what would you do? You would open up your agent and say, go hit this API or whatever, right? Which we can still do that. Like you can still do that right now. The problem with that was you can't observe that traffic. You can't secure that traffic. You can't put any type of like RBAC, ABAC, reback around that traffic because it's just going to hit an API. The best thing that you could do at that point was, let's say, for example, your agent was using G Cloud commands or AZ Cloud commands or whatever. Like the best thing that you could do is just hope that your user, which is using the agent, then that user, that agent has access to whatever you have access to. You just have to hope that proper RBAC permissions were set up, underneath the hood. So then MCP came out, and the idea was, again, you had a specific standard schema for agents to be able to communicate with tools, right? And if you look under the hood, what is MCP? It's literally just client server architecture, functions and methods that have API calls. That's it. So when you see a tool call, an MCP inspector or whatever, and that tool is literally just a function or a method in some code base, that's it, right? But the way that you can interact with the protocol and the schema, that's how you could observe the traffic, secure the traffic, et cetera, right? So that's why that existed. The problem was, and it's not really a problem with progressive disclosure anymore, right? But the problem was that when, let's say, for example, I was going to interact with like a vendor-based MCP server, right? That MCP server could have 100 different tools. When your agent connected to that MCP server, it preloaded all of the tools, which means before you even prompt your agent, you could be like at 100,000 token usage, right? Which is obviously a waste of money. So then progressive disclosure came out, and then essentially you could say, okay, I have two tools, get tool and invoke tool. That's it. Now it's still preloaded some of the schema of the tools, but not the whole thing, right? So you had these two tools, specified what tool you wanted to get, or specify what tool you wanted to invoke, right? But the thing is, people still know that people will use an agent to go and interact with some API, right? Whether it's public facing, whether it's private, doesn't matter. Somebody's still going to go and interact with this API. Okay, so how do we secure that traffic? So now we're back to like pre-MCP mode, right? So that's where something like code mode with Agent Gateway can help you. So essentially what it does, right? Using code mode, backend translates non-MCP tools, meaning your public API or your private API, into MCP-looking tools. So it translates to MCP underneath the hood so the agent can understand it, and so you can still secure and observe that traffic. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to go and hit a public API endpoint. So for example, I have this set up here. I'll run through this. But I have a gateway set up, right? And then I have this config map, and I just have this config map because I'm using Kubernetes. So I just want to be able to bring the API call within my cluster, right? That's it. And this is just like the open Mado geocoding. It's like an open API for location and such. I just used this for a demo just because like I didn't have to pass any API keys or anything, and like you don't either, right? Fully follows the open API format spec. And then what you can do is you can set up an enterprise agent gateway backend that allows you to hit that API endpoint. And again, you can do this with any of your public or private API endpoints, doesn't matter, right? And then the only difference you would have here is like you would have like a secret reference where you would call like a Kubernetes secret, for example, or whatever secret manager you're using, and then that would have your API key. So like this, I don't need to do it because it's public, but if you have a private API that you're hitting that requires an API key, you can still pass that in here via like a Kubernetes secret or from your secret manager. And then I have a route, right, where I can hit this endpoint. So now what we're going to do is we're going to test it live because I genuinely have not tested this at all. So let's actually see if this works, at least this API, right? I know code mode works, but I don't know if this API works. So let's see. All right. So I'm going to open up MCP Inspector. Hold on. Where are you? I know that you are running right here because I'm doing a gajillion things. Okay, so that's going to open. All right. And I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but CMux is awesome. If you're not using CMux, you see
it's so good.
Phenomenal, dude. Like I don't use anything else anymore except this. It's amazing. I have all my tabs here for all the different projects that I'm working on. I love it. Anyways, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this tab and I'm on a smaller screen right now. So it's like I got to move this over a little bit. All right. What is my code mode gateway IP? So I'm going to hit this and I want to say it's over 3,000. Maybe. Hold on. No, it's not connecting. Either that or my session froze. Oh, come on. What is it over? Okay. It is hitting it, but MCP. So it is hitting it. It is working, but MCP is not enjoying. Hold on.
Live building stuff.
Oh, wait, hold on. That's why. See, I screwed up. Okay, let's do this. Okay, that should work. No, what port is my gateway listening on? I should probably know that. 80. Well, no wonder why that's not working. All right, let's give this another go. Hopefully Mike has his brain on now. Okay, there we go. So now it worked and I'm able to list tools, right? And I see this run code tool here. Okay. Now this run code tool, you're seeing this because this is exposing this tool from the geocode API endpoint, right? So like this is the tool that's exposed, and then I can go ahead and I can run this tool. Now, the one thing again I want to point out here is that I'm going through Agent Gateway. I'm hitting an enterprise agent gateway backend. That enterprise agent gateway backend is pointing to an open API format spec endpoint, not MCP. But what it's doing is it's translating to MCP underneath the hood. So number one, the agent has a full understanding of it. And number two, so you can still secure and observe that traffic. So that's code mode in a nutshell. You can hit any API, right? Following the open API format spec, of course, which the majority do, whether it's public or private. So you can still access any API tools versus having to use MCP. So,
and I know, like Christian posted in the article here in the link, nice. Talks about it, but he doesn't talk like how much savings do you think it would have by using this?
Yeah,
it's pretty big though.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing, right?
Savings.
Yeah, like you're not ingesting all the MCP server tools within your context, right? Because you're just calling an endpoint. You're just calling an API, right? Just like we do for anything. Anything we do programmatically, we're just going and we're hitting an API. This is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's not loading the tools within the context, which means the cost savings phenomenal. Right? Because you're not wasting tokens. You're not sitting at 20,000 or 100,000 used tokens before you even set your first prompt, because literally the agent is just making API calls. That's it. That's all it's doing. Yeah. But you're doing it in a securable and observable fashion, which is awesome. So, yeah. So that's it from me.
No, that's awesome. Very cool. From a time perspective, I just wanted to kind of, I just learned how to do these QR code things here. Which I think is pretty neat. And I think it's important. I'm hosting an actual webinar next week on agent registry. So kind of what I touched base before.
It works, buddy. Works beautifully.
Oh, see, look at that. Computers. Where's the link?
Does it work? I don't trust you, man. I don't know if I should scan your QR code.
It's
just emptied my wallet, but yeah.
I got your data. The cookies are installed. The bots are running. Grok is figuring something out. So I'll be doing a walkthrough of what I kind of showed earlier of agent registry. So that centralized catalog on really just how to build skills, build prompts, build agents, and then kind of combine them all together in this webinar where I'll give you the code, the commands for you to be able to deploy this locally inside your environment, be it in a Kubernetes environment or on your local laptop. So would love if everybody does join. That's kind of the most exciting part next week. Other stuff that's happening. Oh man, what else is there that's happening? I don't know, Nathan, if you have anything that you're doing or you're looking at from an AI perspective. I know you've built a bunch of stuff in the past, right?
I have thoughts. Be careful encouraging me to share my thoughts. No, so you were. I know I joined a little late.
No, that's all right.
I'm prepared. You were talking about Substrate a little earlier, weren't you? What's going on there? Do you know what? Something that jumped out at me there was interesting. Just the layers of abstraction we go through over time based on what we need. Like I remember when containers kind of first was gaining popularity. They weren't new. The concept had been around for ages, BSD jails, those kind of things. But when it got mainstream, and the media, as always, this will be the death of something. There's going to be some kind of catastrophizing going on for them to get their clicks. And it was all like, that's the end of containers. And I remember talking to just a very small group of architects about how like that's never going to happen because of isolation. It was very, very weak isolation. It's just really interesting to see how that kind of line wavers back and forth for the use case. Nothing died. We just had it. And now we have another abstraction layer again that is tighter than the container that it's running in. So now we've got this gvisor, which is like a container, but less syscalls. So therefore it's got better isolation. And it's that middle ground trade-off of heavyweight container versus, heavyweight VM versus container. And then the middle ground of this gvisor that's like container safer, I guess, for lack of a better word. I just find it really fascinating, like that we have these new use cases that have made the containers seem like last year now.
Yes, 1,000%. Yeah, and like I have yet to, I don't know if you guys have, but I have yet to like test that isolation in terms of like if I take an agent and I put it in a container or I put it in a sandbox, is there that significant amount of isolation that you get in comparison, right? Is it 20% more? Is it 50% more? Like, I don't know what that number is. It's something that I'm interested in diving into. I have to figure out what that number is.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting read to just see what that does. But I can understand their choices. Like I remember when, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like I remember when ECS came out, and there was a decision when we tried containers. We couldn't. We had to go to a micro VM. So there's always been this kind of back and forth. It's not just leap to the next thing. There's always something that's like, we can't do that right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, not trying to force the tool into the workload, letting the use define the tool.
Right. Yeah, 1,000%. I also think I would say it's almost like a to be fair thing, right? AI and agentic is moving so much faster than every other new thing that has ever come out, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see, like, is the sandbox the last thing, or are there going to be 30 other things that end up popping up?
And that speed is going to create, it's going to have an incredible impact. Here's me making a prediction on my first appearance, but we saw what happened with HTTP 3 and how that just blew up, especially security. So many traditional models that treated the port as the identity, because that's as far as they'd gone. They were designed and built on layer 4 architectures and worked their way up. Because layer 4 was the foundation of kind of what they built their policies on and going up, the moment you bring in a stateless protocol, a protocol where a session can wander across ports or multiple at the same time,
right?
It took a very long time for many very big mainstream vendors to adopt HTTP 3 because it blew that up. They had to do a lot of shim work and magicry, gaff tape and chicken wire to get that running. And now we got MCP streaming coming along.
Yeah.
And like they had years to get HTTP3 because how long did it take for everyone to patch their web servers before it was even a problem? And some companies, they were like, oh, we can do HTTP on the front to save you that time and do just traditional kind of on the back. Yeah. The speed that MCP and it's just everything connecting everywhere all at once, you just don't have that luxury anymore. And I just wonder what that's going to do for traditional companies that don't have 2-3 year run rate now to get a streaming protocol on board. That you've got months. Like, I mean, obviously, humble brag, we're ready to go. We got the spec like, ready to go in there, but not so humble brag. But like, what's that going to do for people just trying to secure these things?
Yeah, and I think like I think it's going to force the companies that are used to going a little bit slower to move fast, right? I'll give you an example. The 3 industries that we have known always in tech to move slow: financial, healthcare, government.
Regulated.
I would argue they're the ones moving the fastest right now to adopt AI and to at least get tests going to figure out how they're going to manage all of it. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because to your point, they're so regulated. They know people are going to use AI internally and there's no way to stop it. And they have to figure out a way to observe and secure that traffic. So it's very interesting to me. Like, we're almost flip-flopping, right? It's like everything we've known up until this point, down to how quick certain industries move, it's just the opposite now. It's pretty interesting.
Exactly. To use the example on your point there, HTTP3 didn't accidentally eke into the company over a 3-month window. MCP is.
It's here.
You aren't stopping it.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's for sure. I like the speed, right? Like I'm so used to like being the person that like I'm waiting for things to like catch up. I love the fact that we're all kind of just living in 18-hour increments at this point. And I don't know, not everybody enjoys that lifestyle, but I do.
Oh, I love testing new things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm still not testing my Spark. I still need to start fine-tuning models a little bit more. Like I have all the stuff, but I need to fine-tune them a little bit more. And I got to really just dive into it to actually see what it is. Because I just use frontier models.
Yes.
Like fastest, biggest, go.
Right.
Change this colon to a period in these 500 lines, which I could have just went control find and replace, but nope, I'm going to use this AI.
Make no mistakes.
Spend 50,000 tokens itself.
And that's a tough thing to do with the speed and evolution of models out there. Like I remember getting really excited about fine tuning and starting down that path. I definitely didn't have the hardware, so I spent a lot of time waiting and waiting. And by the time I got it near right, there'd be a new version of Opus, and it'd be like, it's better than mine. Like, what have I done with my time?
Of course,
yeah. It's what it is.
You need a serious set of data and a very focused kind of use case. Otherwise, it's hard to beat.
You need a very focused use case, and if you don't have a focused use case, you're much better off just utilizing your agent harness, right? So, like what your skills are, what your prompts are, what your instruction is, right? And then what your tools are, and then packaging that all up within your harness, right? And then using your agent that way and whatever LLM you want to use. Because like I'm the same way. Like I enjoy all of like the fine tuning stuff. It's just like hobbyist wise, right? Yeah. Like there was for example, like there was a time where like every sysadmin built their own gaming PC, right? Because it wasn't making you money. It was more of like a hobbyist thing. And I very much feel like that's kind of like where, like, at least for like the standard folk like myself, like that's where like fine tuning would come into play. However, I still do believe that there will be a big market and need for whatever you want to call it, small language model, domain specific model, right? For very specific use cases. Like I was talking to my surgeon about this, where I was like, like, hey, like what if you had like a model for robotics, right? That was like real specific to a particular type of surgery, right? Or a particular area in the body, right? Like spine surgery, right? Like if you're going to have robotics around that, you need a real specific model. Like I don't want like Opus 4.8 like in my back doing stuff. Like, so yeah.
Are you sure you don't want that?
I don't know. That space right now, he's the guy. That's the guy.
That's the guy.
Scan that QR code.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see where the space heads. That's for sure.
Yeah, very.
Well, like, are you guys? What are you using your harness? Like, I have OpenClaw and I have my what's it called, Hermes agent. I have with K agent. I'm using harnesses within that because all I want to do is I just want to talk to things through like Telegram or WhatsApp. Like me and Nathan, we have history with like F5 and stuff like that. Like I literally have, if I share my screen here. Where's my little? I literally have K agent running where I can, I hope this works because I haven't played around with it in a while.
Just gonna screenshot all your keys out of the window. Yeah.
That's okay. Is that where I actually have a harness that is dedicated just for my lab environment for my F5s. That it's isolated. So all the keys and access to that environment is actually connected through Vault. I have an agent or a bot within K agent that goes heads and makes those calls. To Vault to get the credentials, and then another agent within K agent goes ahead and executes kind of the tasks. So I'm using them a lot, but I do like using them.
I do too. I mean, I think it depends. Like I know Nathan and I, we had quite the conversation on this topic, but like I think it also depends on like how you're defining what a harness is, right? Like I feel like for me, like I'm defining a harness as I have an agent, it needs to talk to an LLM. I need to build around that agent. So that's agent skills, that's tools, that's prompts, it's rate limiting, it's whatever, right? To make sure that that agent can do what it needs to do. But like, to be fair though, right? And again, like we were talking about this, like that's Claude code, right? Like that's, cause you can specify what skills you want. You can specify if you want it to be remote, you can specify, what MCP server tools you want, you know what I mean? So it's like the lines are blurred, which that's just AI in general.
And this is just the repo that runs all this. And I have a bunch of different sandbox with FortiGate, a coder agent, a secrets management, SyncWave actually is, I think that was, I don't even know what that was now. That's just whatever it called itself. Because I built half of this with AI, which is fine with me. But let me kind of show you how this looks like. But that repo just represents this page where I will have me as the user talk to my WhatsApp, which then kicks off my Cajun E2A and all these different bots or agents, and then kicks off inside of Cajun to explore that, to validate and whatever I want at a glance. So, and then these are kind of some of the bots I built. Of course, I had to build a HashiCorp Vault bot, and I had to build an F5 bot and a FortiGate bot just because.
You just gave me major flashback. So 9 years ago, I just checked the repo. 9 years ago, I built a chat bot that layered over the front of an F5 big IP. But 9 years ago, this was several thousand lines of regex, having to pass the question, guess the answer, run the commands, and bring the data back. How far we have come with AI and LLM.
Oh, it's wild. Like
I just looked at the repo. It's a scary amount of coffee script for me to get that bot to work. Like,
I actually when you weren't here yet, Nathan, but when OpenClaw came out, the first thing I did was, hey, OpenClaw, here's an F5, upgrade it. And it was an 1.5-hour stream of my Telegram and OpenClaw just going, and it successfully, 10 out of 10, did a post, check, validated. It even went and built a tool that would curl like the 10 VIPs I have and request a response back, and then validated the check after to ensure it's the same response.
Wow. That's the bit that always quietly impresses me, when it goes off and writes a tool to do its own job more effectively. Like that, I'm always just humbled by that.
One thing I had with it was a license. I didn't have a license, and I'm emailing an F5 Etsy. I'm like, yo, generate me a trial license. I'm streaming this live right now. Itself.
That's awesome. But
everything I manage from my house is literally now through Agent and through Telegram. I have a I don't have not in this environment, but I have a Sonos environment. Well, I have a bot that is literally just dedicated to Sonos, and I just go, hey, play this music. Because I really got frustrated with using Siri or using Google Home to go, hey, what's the temperature, or play this music. I don't know, maybe it's my ESL, but it doesn't pick up me, and it sucks for picking up my kids, what they want to play, like just because it does the audio things. So I've built my own little thing using OpenHome. I'm not sure if you ever heard of OpenHome. But it's just an open standard. It's a Pi with a microphone, but I have it connected to my LLMs, and then it connects to Agent, right, to go ahead and execute those songs. Or if I want to open up my garage door opener, I'm like, hey, Professor Seb, I call it Professor Seb, open my garage, number 1. My kids are in the house.
You didn't call it Jarvis?
No, I couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't. I couldn't call it Jarvis.
All of them have to be called Jarvis. It's
missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But it's just those little fun things that I'm like with harnesses, but
hell yeah.
I'm trying to make them. First, when they were deployed, they were just passwords and credentials everywhere. And even OpenClaw was even Claude was bad at that. You could just dump in your API key and it goes. Now it actually tells you, hey, rotate those. I won't use them this time. I'm going to be like, sure, I rotated them.
It is kind of annoying sometimes because so I'll have just in an environment variable, like in a README, right? And I'm not committing it. I'm just testing the flow. And I'll have Anthropic API key and then the API key. So I just want to copy it and run it, right? As I'm testing, and then I'm going to take it out before I commit. And GitHub doesn't even allow you to commit anymore. If it senses an API key, it'll block the commit.
Yeah.
But it'll always yell at me hey, before we continue, we should really I'm like, listen, man, you just do what I tell you to do. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about the API key.
I got stuck in a loop once where I was putting an example of a key in and it wouldn't let me. And I was just like, come.
Yes, exactly. Do what you're told.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, anything else you want to leave everybody with for the week?
I'm excited about code mode. That stuff you search. I'm very excited about that. And having something like code mode that could be in a place where we have things like MCP streaming coming along, I think that's going to be an incredibly powerful thing that's going to fill a lot of gaps. So that's my thing I'm excited about. Let's see how that comes to market. I know we're well ahead of the market with having the spec already kind of solved for, but I can't wait to see just how that plays out.
Yep. Yeah, and definitely for me, I think it's Agent Substrate. I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited for the ability to use Kubernetes for what it's for, which is a pool of orchestrated resources as an agentic, with an agentic sandbox or an agentic sandbox on top. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going to go really far on this. I am super into orbital data centers.
Yeah.
and orbital architectures of data centers. I spent every night reading about it. Nice. I am really deep into the change, and the changes that, like, I'm following what NVIDIA is trying to do with the orbital space with SpaceX, and I'm interested on how they're going to build these out. They already have to change some materials on cooling and stuff like that, because they said that some of the current processes won't last in space that long.
Yep.
But I'm just deep into orbital space stuff, just as a big nerd.
Yes, Seb, Nathan, and I are open for investors if we're gonna put data centers in space. So feel free to reach out. We'll do.
I'm a big fan of space data centers.
Yeah, if you need someone to help architects and build and observe, I'm up for a mission.
Yeah, I'll go up into space and run and raise some.
We just need an RJ45 plugged up. Plug it in.
RJ45 to RS-232 serial adapter still. I have it in the bag.
Actually, one more thing. I saw one thing. I don't know if this was fake or not, but I got to dive into it as I was reading about orbital data centers. There was some company teamed up, I think with NVIDIA, or it was, who knows, it could have been fake. But at the side of a home, they were deploying like a little rack beside your AC unit, like a local home compute that would do whatever your house requires as an LLM.
Wow.
And they were like AC units, like air conditioner units, with a little rack of specific DGXs.
Interesting.
That they could power the grid.
I know with the workload that needs that today, but I'm sure it's coming.
I need more, man. I need more.
Yeah.
But I think that could have been AI. AI a lot.
I've seen a couple of HVAC systems for like businesses coming with AI to like be able to specify like how hot it should be, how cold it should be, if things are going wrong in the system, etc. So yeah, it's definitely getting to that point.
I don't know if so I have something similar like that with my HVAC system. I have like a 2-level HVAC, and it can detect, of course, but I don't know if I need AI on it. Like, did I ever tell you when I used to have a oven that was Wi-Fi connected?
Yeah.
And it started upgrades every quarter on a Saturday in the morning. And you can't use the oven and microwave on a Saturday morning. I'm like, I got to feed my kid. I turned off the Wi-Fi. I was so upset with it.
Look, all I know is people are spending 20,000 tokens to change a colon to a period. So, like, if we're doing that with AI, we should definitely be using HVAC.
So, at least 24.
Awesome. All right, gents, appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that was watching. This is actually, we had a lot of people on today. I've been monitoring, and this is the most amount of people we've had on in the stream so far. So thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Must have been me.
Must have been Nathan.
Must have been you, man. We knew. They knew about it.
So they knew. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Take care. Have a great one. Have a good weekend. Bye.